Welcome to Rick's Corner. The man, the myth, the legend. Now on with the show.
Rick's Corner. Today I have Doug Brignole, which you guys always ask for. We had a nice lunch. He treated me to lunch for my birthday, which was very nice of him. I'm very appreciative. And we came back to do a show to talk to you about various things in your workouts and your lifestyle and what you do to make you a better you. And we're going to begin with something that he had called attention to, and I can't pronounce it.
Well, it's a funny name. It's a biomechanical term, two terms actually. It's called active insufficiency and passive insufficiency, which is a funny name because insufficient means not enough, right?
Right, yeah.
So this,
so I'm actively insufficient means that I'm not getting anything done.
Even though you're being active.
Yeah, even though I'm being active. Yeah.
This pertains specifically to the bicep, the tricep, the quads, and the hamstrings.
Okay.
Why? Because those muscles cross two joints instead of one joint. Okay, so let's talk about the bicep and the hamstring since they're very similar. Okay? So if you were to do a curl sitting on a lat pull down seat, grabbing overhead, grabbing the handle, and curling like this.
Oh yeah, I see people do that a lot.
Okay. This would create active insufficiency in the bicep.
What do you mean that?
And what that means is that I have now brought the origin of the bicep closer to, the insertion of the bicep closer to the origin of the bicep, which has made the muscle shorter.
Okay.
Now we know that muscles are stronger when they're elongated and weaker when they're shortened, and now you've weakened it more by shortening it more.
Okay.
So what happens is when you do this, for those of you that have tried this, you'll probably notice that your bicep cramps when you do this. Why is it cramping? Because the myosin fibrils, those little things that make the muscle contract, are sliding over each other and bunching up, and they've run out of ability to contract.
This is a good thing?
So when you're doing this, you're getting active insufficiency in the bicep, which is weakness. It's a bad thing. It's compromising the muscle's ability to contract. And you're getting passive insufficiency from the tricep overstretching.
Oh, I see.
The tricep overstretching is telling your central nervous system, protect that tricep, weaken the bicep, so that it doesn't contract so hard that the bicep overstretches.
Never heard of that ever.
And the same thing happens on legs. Now what you do know is this, that if you lie down on your stomach to do the normal lying leg curl, right, you know that your tailbone comes up.
Yes, it does.
Why does it come up? Because of active and passive insufficiency.
Oh, it's a reaction.
What happens is, as long as your femur, which is your thigh bone, is relatively parallel to your torso, and then you bring your heel back, you're stretching your quadricep.
I see that.
That's passive insufficiency of the hamstring.
Okay.
Then you've also brought the insertion of the hamstring closer to the origin of the hamstring, up posterior to the hip, and now you're causing that to over-shorten. So when you raise your tailbone up, it is your body's effort to bend the hip so that you won't stretch your quadricep and so that you create a longer hamstring.
This does it automatically?
Yeah, and so the manufacturer started making a leg curl machine with a hump in it.
Yeah,
to compensate a little bit, but it's not enough. Seated leg curl is the better leg curl because with a 90-degree bend in your hip, you eliminate passive insufficiency of the quadricep and active insufficiency of the hamstring. And the same thing is true when you're doing the bicep curl here versus here. So what I really want to say, aside from introducing you to these two concepts, is the fact that it is wrong to assume that just because an exercise is different, it's better. Some exercises are worse. They're simply inferior. The idea that you're going to do standing barbell curls and then you're going to do a seated cable curl because that variety is good, the fact that you're bending your elbow in both exercises means A, it's redundant, and it's redundant with an inferior version.
Well, you know why it is good? Because it's not because of those reasons. It's good for somebody mentally when they want to change things up, but they need to find something better to change it to.
And so what I say to people is this. All exercises have a different, let's say, rating. from 1 to 10, right? And there's 8 components, criteria that need to be met for an exercise to be maximally good, right? So there aren't that many exercises that meet those 8 criteria. So if you go from an exercise that rates a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10 to one that rates a 6 or a 5, then you're giving your bicep an inferior version of stimulation. Now, if you say to me, well, I want to mix things up because it keeps it fun, I would say that's great, as long as you understand and accept the fact that you're switching to an inferior exercise.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Can I ask?
Yes, of course. It's your show.
Oh, it is, isn't it? When I had hurt my, I don't know if it was my knee or my quads, I went to seated leg hamstrings.
Right.
Seated leg curls. There's a good one in the gym. It's a good machine, and I can do it. And it doesn't seem to put any strain on any of my injuries. And then I switched over to the lying down one with a hump, and I did with 30, 40, 50 pounds maybe, and I really, really felt it in my hamstrings compared to the one seated. So you're saying, though, the one seated is better?
Well, your hamstring is more powerful.
Okay.
When your hip is in a 90-degree bend.
It is more powerful.
And that's why a lighter weight feels heavier on the flat.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because you're experiencing active and passive insufficiency.
So basically, the seated one's fine.
It's superior. It's not just fine. It is better then.
Okay. Well, then I'll continue.
And you know how some people do both?
Yeah.
And they
do.
Well, you don't need to do both. That's like saying I'm going to do an exercise that rates a 10, and then I'm going to do an exercise that's redundant but rates a 6.
That's like saying I'm going to have that potato and then I'm going to eat that potato.
That's like saying you've got you're mixing a protein drink.
Yeah.
And this glass here, you put a scoop in it, a protein, and it's got 25 grams of protein.
Right.
And this one here's got 10 grams of protein. Right? And so you're going to drink this one and you're going to drink this one. And I would say, why don't you just drink 2 of those? Yeah. You're better off doing twice as much of the better one.
Or mix them both together?
Oh, yeah, but then it's the same volume. What I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to do the same amount of volume but with more benefit, or the same amount of benefit with less volume.
So what do you think is the best bicep exercise for you?
I would say seated alternate hammer curls.
Oh yeah, I like those.
Period. I mean, your shoulder position is in the exact right position for maximum strength. The fact that you're doing them alternately avoids this thing called bilateral deficit. You like these words, don't you?
Yes, those are $1 million words.
Yeah, bilateral deficit. Bilateral deficit means that one arm acting alone is stronger than 2 arms working simultaneously.
No, I understand that.
So if you take a pair of 35-pound dumbbells, it'll be harder to curl them simultaneously than it would be to curl one. And you could actually curl a 40 alternately, but max out at 35 together.
Right.
So you're better off doing them one at a time or alternately.
What if you have a sore bicep tendon and you go to, or it goes up to your shoulder and you got to do it and it just like really hurts up in your shoulder? Have you had that? Yeah.
What I would do at that point is probably use a different weight in each hand.
Okay.
And just
sometimes even the lighter weight hurts.
Well, maybe you have to lay off it entirely.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's not bad either, because people think that if they work the strong arm only and ignore the weak arm, that the difference will grow and grow and grow, and this one will never catch up.
It does.
That's another thing called.
We talked about this.
Yeah, it's called something education. There is some crossover benefit. If you do something with the left arm and nothing with the right arm, some of that benefit will cross over to the right arm, even though the right arm does nothing.
I'm thinking about something I saw today. There's a guy in the gym, a friend of mine, a stuntman.
It's called cross education.
He's been a stuntman for years and years. Everybody knows him really well. He's tall, he's lean, he's really muscular. He'll do sets of 100 reps. That's what he does. And he's got these big...
Of course, that's irrelevant unless you know what weight he's using.
Yeah, but my God, I couldn't even do 100.
Okay. Well, 100 with like 1 pound.
No, I couldn't even do 100.
Actually, that would probably get... That's right.
I could do that.
All right.
So what I'm saying is he's strong. He puts a lot into it. And he's a stunt guy. This is what he does for a living. He has a lot of veins, very vascular, and he has this huge biceps that are just really cut and ripped. So he walked out of the gym this morning, he saw me on the cane. How you doing? I said, well, my leg's still beat up and I'm trying to get through it. How are you? He says, well, I have tendonitis in both my arms right here. He says, I can't even lift a coffee cup. It hurts so bad for a year now.
Interesting.
So what are you doing for bicep? He says, I can't work my biceps. Everything I do is back. You know, back works a bicep too.
Right.
And his biceps are phenomenal for not ever working them.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy good.
Well, it sounds like he is genetically predisposed to having muscular arms.
Unbelievable.
I mean, we know people that have muscular calves and never work their calves.
Yeah.
People that have muscular traps and they never work their traps.
Oh, he's gifted. I mean, this guy looks great.
And imagine how well they'd look if he was able to work them.
Yeah. I mean, this he's like 6'4" and he's lean. Yeah. Muscular, perfect posture, you know. Just a really nice guy.
So the point I wanted to make just basically was that every exercise has mechanical components. It either has bilateral deficit, or it has cross-education, or it has insufficiency, active and passive. It's either got a good resistance curve or a not so good resistance curve, meaning that it's stronger where the muscle's stronger and heavier where the muscle, lighter where the muscle's weaker. All of these factors then tell you what the rating of that exercise would be. So rather than thinking that variety is the spice of life and the more variety the better, you're much better off knowing which ones are the better exercises.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Which ones are the less good or inferior exercises. Minimize the amount of effort or time and energy you spend, and spend it only on the good ones. And that's what I explain in my book. I'm
going to talk about that in a second. There's a curl machine in my gym, and you can sit down and it has these little horseshoe handles. You can do it this way or this way. Sometimes I put an easy curl bar through it and curl. Right. Because I like the bar. Right. And it's selectorized. And now that I've had some injuries, I'm not doing free weights that much. Right. I will get back to it, but I really feel that machine. Yeah. So I just started doing it without the bar, which I should go back to. Yeah. And then I go over to the preacher bench with the cable and the handle. You got to reach way over and grab it, but that feels different than that one, even though they're both preachers.
Well, they all have different mechanics.
Right. And then if I go to the other preacher across the gym and use the easy curl bar with 5 or 10 pounds on it and just lean over and do them, even at 10 pounds, and it's working me really well.
Well, here's a perfect example. If you get on a preacher curl bench with a pair of dumbbells and you do a set of 10, and then you take that preacher curl bench and you slide it over in front of a pulley, and you grab the handle and you do your curls on. Those are drastically different exercises, even though you're using the same bench.
Yeah, they are different.
Because the direction of resistance relative to your bicep and your upper arm and your forearm is drastically different. So the resistance curve is better on the cable version than on the free weight version.
Okay, now I understand.
Because on the dumbbell version, on the free weight version, since your arms start off at a 45-degree angle, this is literally trying to hyperextend your elbow, and this is, you remember we talked about mechanical disadvantage? The bicep crosses the elbow, ties in right about here, and is pulling toward the origin, which means mostly parallel to this. That means most of the effort of the bicep isn't being pulled to move the arm up, it's pulling in, right? So 90% of effort is being wasted, 10% is being used productive. It's very dangerous. Down here to bottom out on a heavy preacher curl. And then when you get up here, it's gone. You get to the top, you have no more resistance.
There's no resistance.
But if you use the cable, you start off with 0, and you get maximum right about here. Right. When you get to the top, you still have resistance, although you're not the most and not the least. That's a much better resistance curve.
Makes sense.
That's what determines the value of the exercise.
Okay.
Mechanical components.
So let's talk about your book.
Well, The Physics of Fitness, by the way, I hate to mislead you. It's not available in print form yet. I'm hoping it'll be available in September, October maybe. There's a lot to do. There's 803 pages, 900 photos, images, and we have to ensure copyright on all 900 images, right? Which means sometimes we have to buy them from Shutterstock, sometimes we have to rephotograph them, reillustrate them. The book is all written, right? But in order for it to be print and not violate any copyright, we have to make sure that everything is, all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. So the PDF is available. And so...
Which is just as good.
It's most people prefer it. There's a few people that like having the paper version where they can write in it. But the majority of people prefer a PDF, which is on your computer.
Or they can go print that out for $100.
It's a little more than that.
Not cheap.
It's about $400 to print this in color.
Yeah.
If you go to Kinko's or one of the local print
better
shops.
just to keep it on your computer.
Yeah. But anyway, $50. Email me at dbfitness@aol.com. I'll send you instructions on how to PayPal me the $50. I'll send you a download link. And then you'll have the book, and you'll have all the secrets, all the rationale, the criteria that tells you how you can evaluate a barbell squat, a deadlift, a bent over barbell row, a standing side lateral versus a lying side lateral. This explains the mechanics of all of them and explains to you which exercise is first best, second best, third best, fourth best for these reasons. And it's a universal set of principles that applies across the board.
It's like the secrets to the magic of bodybuilding.
And it's surprising no one ever did it before. It's like people select their exercises based on trend, based on how good they look while they're doing it.
Yeah, but they don't have the knowledge you do, so they don't know how to put it down.
Right, and I'm not criticizing them. I'm just saying it's about time we understand why we choose what we choose.
Most people don't even know how to write a book. They certainly don't know how to put the show together like this. We've talked about that. Right. It's a lot of work, and people don't realize how much work it really is to do this. It's a lot of work.
It's a completely different type of skill.
You just don't put a camera on and say, okay, here we are. So same thing with writing a book. You got to go through it and go through it and go through it.
It took me 4 years to write this.
Yeah, I know. Long time. Well, thank you, Doug.
My pleasure. It's always
appreciate it.
It's always fun being here.
I had a great lunch. Had a great time with you. And
happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
I think this is like the 10th time you've been 29.
Yeah.
Something like that.
29 with a lot of hard miles. Thank you guys for watching Rick's Corner. Remember, you can buy the Gold's Gym logo on my website. You'll see a little illustration of that. And my book, The Time of My Life, which takes you through my journey of bodybuilding and wrestling and all the fun stuff I did on the road.
Interesting stuff.
Until then, we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you very much.
Stay tuned for more Rick's Corner. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Hey, everyone. Now you can have the Gold's Gym logo drawn by me, the artist Rick Drasin, personalized and made out to you and signed by me to frame and put on your gym wall or wherever you see fit to do so. It's a piece of bodybuilding history. It will never be duplicated again. It's the largest selling icon t-shirt logo in the world. And I'm the guy that drew it, and I will draw it for you. Just go to my website, rickdrasin.com, and order there. You can pay through PayPal, and it'll be sent out right away. And be sure to watch Rick's Corner for all the videos on bodybuilding, nutrition, fitness, pro wrestling, and anything that suits your interest as far as getting physically fit and being the best you can be from the golden era of bodybuilding.
He's the equalizer, baby. See you next time.